Hello and welcome to Let's Read RWBY Before the Dawn. I am your host, Raymond McNeil of Celtic Phoenix Productions, and I do hope you'll stay with us for a little reading time. I'm sorry I'm not used to starting these kinds of streams while wearing headphones, but I do have a lovely guest with me, the wonderful Molly, also known as Sink. Say hello, Molly.
I'm 21, by the way. Whoever said I was 20, I'm 21 now. That's not me lying either. That's not me lying.
Has anyone ever tried to call you Smalley before?
Yes, when I was like the first internet friend group I was in, they called me Smalls.
Smalls. Oh,
yeah.
That's a good name. We used to have a guy called Biggie Smalls.
Biggie Smalls.
Yeah, he was huge. Yes, welcome everyone. I'm not going to put on that Ponzi accent for forever. That's a really annoying thing to keep on going. As you'll note, this is the second stream, and today we actually have already covered the prologue of this book. Now, because I'm working with someone, it is a bit longer than normal. Discovered that. We'll try and keep on subject a little bit more. But
sorry, I talk a lot.
No, it's interesting stuff. I'm one of those guys that, like, I can't really do a show on my own. I need people to bounce off of. It's one of those, like, kind of things where I'm more like a spice. I add to everyone's life, but I can't really stand on my own. At least I feel that way sometimes. So, yes. And so basically what happened in the last chapter was that Sun, well, he basically volunteered himself and obviously set himself up for tragedy to help out Velvet and Yatsuhashi and all of Team Coffee to stop the Crown, which are the evil bad guys in this story, apparently. Now, keep in mind, he's also been, like, abandoning his team, so...
I love how that's a plot point.
Also, I have music I want to play for this.
Hey, do you mind if I take the narration this time around just so you could save your voice?
Yes, I was actually going to ask you to do that. We have 14 pages to get through for Chapter 1, so it was 19 right. For the last one, so it's about equivalent trade-off.
Alright, so obviously you can take the male voices. You start.
Yep. You can stop laughing, Coco.
Sunside.
Anytime.
I'm not laughing, Coco said, innocently sipping her coffee. Don't you mean her Team Coffee? It was surprising when Team Sn joined Team Kiffy for breakfast in the lower courtyard before class, but she was glad they had. Velvet told everyone about her misadventures the night before. Coco would not have missed it for the world.
Okay, stop smiling then.
Sun said. I thought boys liked it when girls smiled.
For some reason, when you do it, it isn't friendly. It looks like a threat.
Yatsuhashi nodded solemnly.
You have to admit.
Neptune Vasily, whatever, told Sun.
You get beat up by 3 random thugs on your own turf is pretty... You getting beat up by 3 random thugs on your own turf is pretty funny. Wish I'd been there.
From the hard edge of Neptune's voice, Coco wondered if he meant he wished he'd been there to watch more than help. But she doubted Sun had the awareness to see that, and from the way Sun's other teammate Sage, Ayana, was glaring at him, she guessed that he understood where Neptune was coming from. Last night wasn't just about Sun being wacky old Sun. It was another example of him putting himself before his team.
I'm telling you, there was something really weird about those guys.
Sun protested.
They were unbeatable.
The news that Velvet and Yatsuhashi at Sun had pretty much made Coco's morning. It restored some of the balance that had been lost since Team Sn had come to shade, gloating that they had rescued Kiffy on their mission last month. Rescued was a strong word, Coco thought. They certainly assisted, and she was grateful, but Sn's bragging had not only taken the shine off of Kiffy's reputation, it had fed a brewing resentment that Coco and the others had been getting from some of the students at Shade. Despite Kiffy's reputation and demonstrated awesomeness, the native vacuans called them weak for abandoning Beacon Academy. Now it felt like Kiffy had to prove themselves with every assignment, every mission, and Sn didn't make things any easier.
Oh god, this entire first section is just reading to me of like, we're so cool. Aw, aren't we cool, guys? Like that whole like, I thought you liked it when girls smiled. It's like, are they taking the piss out of the Captain Marvel thing? Like,
well, if anybody's taking the piss out of Captain Marvel, I guess that's a good thing.
I don't know because they might be backing it up. Because like that was what the whole thing is like. Hey there, darling. How about a smile?
Oh yeah, that's right. Captain Marvel was.
And then Captain Marvel
like
proceeded
that.
to flat out assault a man. All right.
And fuck Brie Larson by extension.
Yeah, you know, we say no bashing other YouTubers.
No bullying.
No bullying.
No bullying.
Other YouTubers.
You're right. She's not a YouTuber.
She is now, apparently. Just magically overnight.
Yeah, Thomas Frank is right. This does be like, Team Coffee is so cool, guys. It is so cool, and like caffeine just keeps getting louder and louder. Like, where were we? Coco was more than. What did we? Was it Coco was more than a little hesitant? Is that where we were? Okay. Coco was more than a little hesitant to accept Sun's offer to help them track down the crown. He had a habit of attaching himself to better teams, like RWBY, to make up for the fact that he and his own team were mediocre at best. Oh, that's so mean.
Sorry.
They had potential, Coco thought, but they needed a strong leader, and Sun wasn't it. What kind of leader abandoned their team, especially what they'd been through at Beacon? It put just say something about leadership in this whole series just feels wrong. Their definition of leadership is finding people they think have potential but aren't like there yet. Leadership is more than coming up with the strats and, you know, being there physically. It's about keeping things together when things go wrong. Something that RWBY and John and Coco and even like Sun has, none of them have demonstrated that ability. They're all on equal footing in my particular opinion.
The thing is, that's fine.
And they all work solitarily anyway.
The thing is, that's fine for them. They're all still basically children. They're being trained. They're supposed to be being trained. The problem is, we have not seen a single adult that demonstrates leadership qualities, and none of them have actually imbued them into the kids. Like, the one thing that got close to it was the Ozpin speech in Volume 2, and I don't even think that was directly related to leadership. That was mostly about cutting loose.
We're not like other teams.
Yeah, other teams didn't lose their goddamn school, now did they?
Oops. It's just like... I just don't understand how they do like team assignment. Like, RWBY has never had a good strategy. The most recent time we saw her strategize was there was that armored mammoth coming towards them, right? Her grand strategy was to attack the tusk, not like get underneath it and attack the vital unarmored points. But
all right, let's see. Where were we? Sun was unable to, I believe.
Yeah,
was too unstable.
Sun was too unstable, too unreliable for her to want to partner with him and his team. She didn't even like eating with Sna, usually. Team Kifvi worked best on their own because they trusted one another completely. Look, Sun, I'm sorry about your missing friends, Coco said. And I appreciate your offer to team up, but the only help we need right now is from Headmaster Theodore and Professor Rumpel.
That is a great name.
She was certain that was the best way to track down the crown if the two of them would ever respond. Unfortunately, Rumpel, Theodore's right hand, had been brushing off Team Kifvi lately. After their mission debriefing last month, Coco had requested a meeting with the headmaster to discuss the crown, but they still hadn't heard anything. Either Rumpel hadn't passed on the message, or Theodore didn't think it was worth his time. Coco was trying to be patient, but Team Kifvi wasn't waiting around. Scarlet David lifted his head. He'd been listening, not saying much. Coco got the feeling he wasn't particularly enjoying being at Shade. Vacua was a bit of a acquired taste, and took some getting used to, especially after everything he'd been through. Losing both Beacon and Haven to the same people, whoever it was who had been working with the White Fang. This enemy was a threat, clearly. But so was the crown. Why couldn't Theodore see the urgency? Can we pause? What is the crown? Was that in the...
Yeah, that was, that's the organization that the two main antagonists from the last book seem to have been working for. Basically, their entire thing is stealing people with powerful semblances for some reason.
I see.
Yeah. And then, hold on. I'm trying to do a Gavin.
Oh, yeah,
voice.
isn't he British?
Yeah. Hold on.
Scarlet said.
Are you saying you don't have permission to investigate the crown? Well, we do not have permission. We do not have permission.
Fox Alistair said. I know it's Alistair, I'm sorry. I messed up. We don't have explicit orders to pursue the crown, no, Coco said. But I see this as an extension of our original mission to support the Swiss refugees. It's unfinished business. Carmine and I'm just going to call him Bertolt. Bertolt. We're still out there, and the crown, if that's who they were working for, still possessed a danger. Why did the crown need so many people with powerful semblances, Coco wondered. She doubted the crown was collecting them to perform petty crimes, and it was taking away people who could become valuable huntsmen one day. People who might be needed if there was ever a full-on attack on Shade. But it is our business, Coco added. We don't need you. No offense. Scarlet stood.
Why would I take offense?
He asked.
Just because you think you're too good for us.
Where's Gavin from? Like town-wise?
Hell if I know. I don't know I just know like posh British and then like somehow slur into like I don't know. I just do an accent in British.
Okay, that's fair. That's me being super picky.
Yeah, the thing is, he has a very kind of whiny sound to him. Like, he kind of drags some words, I think, if I recall correctly. But I can't replicate that.
Manchester. Anyway, Coco glanced at her team. Velvet avoided looking at her, which meant she wasn't on the same page this time. Yatsuhashi looked uncomfortable, but he kind of always did during personal conflicts. And Fox.
It wouldn't hurt to have some reinforcements.
Fox sent using his telepathic semblance, presumably just for her. I don't disagree, Coco sent back. If it was the right team.
That's fine. We haven't even discussed this yet, since Sun only sprang the idea on us this morning.
Scarlet said. Coco blinked. Just an aside, I don't like that eye because I always just picture the character sitting there blinking once. Sometimes it took her a second to process things when she was having a telepathic conversation with Fox in the middle of a regular conversation with other people. Was Scarlet saying Team Snow wasn't offering to help? Did Snow even have a plan? We'll let you know when we need backup, Coco added. This is a major problem, and I don't understand why Theodore and Rumpel don't see that finding the crown should be Shade's biggest priority right now.
Theo has had a lot on his mind,
Sun announced. Theo? Coco repeated, incredulously.
Headmaster Theodore.
I know who you meant. I didn't know that you were on such familiar terms with him. You just got here.
And you're not exactly the best and brightest student at Shade. Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah, that's her. And you're not exactly the best and brightest student at Shade, she added silently.
Harsh.
Fox said. Okay, so she hadn't thought it silently enough.
But fair.
Fox added.
When we arrived, Theodore wanted an update on everything that went down in Mistral. He asked why we came to Shade instead of waiting here for Haven to reopen. I've been wondering the same thing myself.
Sage said quietly.
Hey, I agreed to come because you talked up how much fun Vacuo is. Has Vacuo been fun so far?
Sage asked.
Not really. Neptune's
eyes widened.
Sun tricked me? It wouldn't be the first time.
Scarlet said.
Look, we need to get ready for whatever's coming. This is the best place for that.
His tail twitched angrily. It pained Coco to admit it, but she agreed with Sun, just this once.
There's a difference between the best place and the only place. Beacon's gone.
Sorry, I just got a text from my friend that is killing me. But now, Velvet said. Scarlet rolled his eyes, or at least the one eye that wasn't covered by his red hair.
Yeah, he has long red hair that covers.
No, I know that. I was just adding some inflection.
Oh. It sounded like a question. Like he has red hair that covers his eye.
Sorry, I was just I was being cute. You guys, tell me if I'm too cute.
Sure, and with Atlas's borders closed, Shade Academy is the only place to train. I wouldn't call that a choice.
Sun rose from his seat and faced Scarlet.
You do have a choice. You can stay or you can go. Do I stay or do I go? I gotta hate that song.
Sorry, it's a good song. That's still you. I keep forgetting Scarlet's a man.
I keep forgetting that, like, trying to keep track of all these voices is insane. I'm not the one who has a problem staying in one place. Scarlet retorted.
Yeah,
Harsh.
Scarlet retorted.
Harsh.
Fox sent again. This time Coco, Velvet, and Yatsuhashi. Why do they keep calling him by his full name? It's 4 syllables.
Yeah, just say Yatsu.
Yatsu.
Come on, guys.
Like, aren't they all familiar?
Yeah, they should be. Come on, guys. Can we not do this? At least not in front of the other teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea what Sage's voice is like. I'm just giving him Yatsuhashi's voice.
At least not in front of the other teams, Sage muttered.
At least not in front of the other teams.
No, I told you I would give him a New Yorker accent.
All right, well, you can take over Sage if you want.
Yes! Yatsuhashi pushed his plate away, most of his breakfast still uneaten. Velvet's ears wilted, matching her downcast expression. This was no good, Coco thought. Team Snuz's dysfunction was affecting her team's morale. Sorry, I'm a little drunk. Can we get back to Theodore? Coco said. Son, why do you think he is worried about the crowd?
Who's this talking?
This is Sun, I believe.
He's focused on the bigger picture. Shade could be attacked at any moment.
Keeping us in the dark isn't going to help anyone, Coco said.
You keep forgetting. We're just students.
We're already better than a lot of trained huntsmen, Coco said, and truer words have never been spoken for this series.
But we still have a lot to learn, and we've already failed to defend one school.
Coco corrected him. We were all taken by surprise. Haven fared better.
Most of us weren't even there, and I still wouldn't call that a win.
Scarlet replied. Coco shook her head and repeated her point. We need to see the headmaster. He may be too preoccupied to look into the crown, but he also can't ignore it. He just needs to take us seriously.
I'll see what I can do,
Sun said. She threw up her hands. I don't want you to do anything.
Hey, I'm trying to help.
Sun said, you say vacuums won't trust us without you, but you're wrong when we're out there in the desert.
City vacuums are different from desert vacuums.
That's racist, Sun said.
Besides, Slate vouched for you. That's probably why people gave you a chance.
I thought it didn't matter where you're from as long as you can survive in vacuo.
Thank
Velvet
you!
said quietly.
Thank you, Velvet!
Sun looked at her and his face softened.
That's true, to an extent. But resentment of other kingdoms still runs deep here. Wait, what's the... We're a complete meritocracy unless you're a dirty foreigner. Okay, sorry. Please continue.
Dirty foreigner.
Where were we?
Fox nodded.
That's true.
He said aloud for Team Snuz's benefit. Should I just call him Sun?
No. We're sticking with Sn. We're sticking with...
I feel like I'm learning how to say some sort of phonetic in a very different language.
I mean, it's RWBY, it basically is. Beacon students may have been accepted grudgingly because Vale was the only kingdom to side with Vacuo in the Great War. the one king. Like there's not many other kingdoms. Why are you saying like the one? But Headmaster Theodore's decision to welcome us clearly wasn't popular, judging by the reaction of some of our fellow students.
The Great War again. Coco shook her head. Ancient history. Let it go.
Easy for you to say, but you have to let go of what happened. But have you let go of what happened at Beacon?
He sat down and put his hands together.
You need us.
Neptune. I agree. It's you still.
I agree with Sun. I don't know how to distinguish these two voices. Of course you do.
Sorry, one of the comments is honestly realistic, says it's a meritocracy, but it's still racist, just like Singapore. They can't let it go winter.
I mean, okay, fair. I agree with Sun. Of
Neptune
course
said.
you do.
Scarlet crossed his arms. Neptune's face grew red.
What's that supposed to mean?
Coco leaned back. These guys think they can help us when they can't even help themselves? She sent to the group. I like this group DM in the astral plane.
Yeah, this group DM in the astral plane. Oh god, I'm just imagining a big giant chat board just floating in like space. Maybe they need our help. They definitely do. Besides, you know Sun's going to get involved no matter what you decide, just like you would. Coco.
Oh, sorry. Coco pursed her lips. Her teammates knew how to get what they wanted. Oh, like a raccoon. But it wasn't manipulation as long as she knew they were manipulating her, right? Really, they were just saying things she already knew, things she needed to hear, to come to a decision that was best for the whole team, and for Shade Academy and Vacuo and anyone else who might fall prey to the crown as well. I feel like that period is weird.
Which
where
one?
It was best for the whole team, period, and for Shade Academy.
Yeah, I feel like that could have been a comma. It's still you.
Sorry, somebody apparently called out Haley Kiyoko. That just heals my soul every time she does anything bad and it comes to light.
Hey, you called who? What?
Haley Kiyoko, she's a singer I really don't like.
Oh,
but
okay.
no bully stream.
What do you think, Velvet?
Yeah, I know. What do you think, Velvet? Coco sent. Velvet was quiet for a while before she lifted her eyes and looked directly at Coco. She smiled. I like proving people wrong. Me too, Coco sent. While they were having their private conversation, Sun, Scarlet, Sage, and Neptune, it's in order, everyone, had reached a new level of anger. Just because Team Kiffy wants to do something...
Yeah. Just because Team Coffee wants to do something doesn't make it important.
Scarlet shouted. Coco slowly rose from her seat, and the boys fell silent. She had to admit, she liked that. She had seen the kind of respect that leaders like Slate commanded, and okay, this was probably more fear than respect, but still, Coco would take it. Stopping the crown is important because it will help people, Coco said. That's what we do. That's what we're training to do. And if we can't help others whenever we can, however we can, then what are we here for?
We should focus more on our training, becoming the best huntsman we can. Anything else is a distraction, and I don't like going behind Rumpel's back.
Sage nodded. All this mean, the best way to help Shade when they come after us is to be prepared to defend it, better than we were at Beacon. Apologies, everyone. Coco took off her sunglasses. She looked around the table. She still had to convince them. We need one another, she said. We're among the few who know what we're up against because we were there at Beacon, and we fought, and we lost. You guys were at Haven. We know what's... She gestured vaguely. Out there. And how much it can threaten what we have here. We have our history, too. But we also have one another.
I'm gonna pause.
There's that weird thing again with the ellipses. I think stylistic.
No, what, with the space between it?
Yeah, so I checked Word, with the same text and everything. And it does space ellipses, but it does not put the space between the letter and the actual punctuation.
Interesting. But I was gonna say, like,
Thomas is right. Coco is pretending to be a dom, and she secretly is up. This is that's just how it works.
Yeah.
The more dominant people act in real life, the more they are compensating for the fact that they don't like the fact that they could really just be pushed around by anybody if they really want to. This is facts. This is known. This is life lessons, everybody. Life lessons with Bolly.
Remember, so just walk up to your boss and just like bully him, and you will be able to make him do what you want him to, or you'll get fired.
Guys, bullying people is good. That's what we're learning here.
Yeah, bullying people is good. Don't actually bully people, please don't. But I was
no bullshit.
I want to call bullshit on what she's talking about here, because what did Team Coffee or Sun encounter at Beacon that was so life-changing for their setting? Like, they had robots. Okay, that was the weirdest one. But then they had terrorists, which they'd already been fighting before, and Grimm, which they'd already been fighting before. It was just the numbers that changed. So, what was new information for them? It's not like they were let in that there's a conspiracy going on. Not even Team Ranger knew what they were dealing with until halfway through Volume 4, and even then, they didn't know the full details until the end of Volume 6. Like, what is Coco talking about here?
What are you two fucking talking about?
It's like, we're the only ones that know what's out there. No, everyone knows what's out there. Terrorists, evil Grimm, and death. That is literally, you are fighting the exact same things. The only things that have changed now is that there's a conspiracy going on, but this isn't even related at all, as far as we can tell, to anything relevant right now. So there's a string coming out of my new smoking jacket. Okay, we can.
Your what jacket?
My sister got me this really nice robe. It's like a smoking jacket type design.
I don't know what a smoking jacket is.
I don't know how to describe it. It's basically just a really nice bathrobe. Like this thing is like felt, and it's just so cozy. It's nice.
Oh, I see. Wow. Oh, that does look really nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're talking. Yeah, I looked it up. We know what's out there, Coco said, holding the script to the main series RWBY while Miles is crying in the corner.
Also, bandits! Yeah, can't forget them bandits, who...
Bandits!
Basically just fade into obscurity.
That's my favorite part of any JRPG, is when they have to take down the bandits.
Oh, Lord. Alright, so, she put her sunglasses?
She put her sunglasses back on. Team Snow really needed to get their act together, but Coffee, I accidentally said it right, had been there once before, and she knew a little about the challenge of winning back her team's trust. There was no denying Sun had access to resources that would help them track down the crowd. It made sense to combine their efforts, if only to make sure Sun didn't get in their way, or to make sure Scarlet didn't rat them out to Rumpel. We're stronger together. Coco smiled in what she hoped wasn't a creepy way. This whole accepting help thing wasn't exactly her style. Scarlet opened his mouth, but Coco held up a hand to stop him from speaking. And I will talk to Professor Rumpel after class to make sure she's on board. Oh, it's a she. Let's make this an official assignment, okay? Scarlet closed his mouth. He nodded, sparing us from that accent.
Hey!
I'm just messing. I'm not dissing you, I'm dissing him. Maybe dissing you. I don't know. I'm halfway through the corona.
I'm getting bullied, everyone!
No, I don't want to bully Raymond. It's a Corona Extra. I don't know what the extra means.
You're infecting the stream.
I am. This is my bloodstream. I don't think my BAC has ever been over, like, 0.08. So I guess I've never been legally drunk. Anyway. Okay. Team Coffee had the power of gay. I will let you know, the power of gay is extremely weak. It actually makes people less powerful. Because it leads to a lot of petty infighting and being extremely abrasive in my experience. But, that's just my experience.
I mean, the power of lesbians is different, but it's very specific and very targeted. You can't just whip that out at every single, parent-teacher meeting just to kind of say, the power of lesbian compel... You can't do that. You can't... It doesn't work like that. It's a very specific power. Only
No,
lesbians.
I learned
pure
what the
heart.
power of. Listen, I learned what the power of lesbian was when I looked on the dating app for the first time. I saw so many pierced nose ring. Oh, so many nose piercings. So many nose
Oh
piercings.
my god, I
Like think about like my personal nightmare of potential partners. That was what that was.
oh my god, that sound. I had never considered what
I,
would that dating app look like for you. Like, how many of them do you think found each other, looked at each other, and just went like, yeah, but you're not like what I want in a girl? How many of them do you think were like not self-aware enough to realize that they themselves were not attractive to themselves?
Probably a lot of them, and I understand that Coco is one too. But I'm saying that as one. Coco's using that power, and it makes herself worse. It's the power of thinking that being abrasive is somehow cool, which you see a lot on Twitter. It's more of a Twitter problem, I guess.
That's right. Scarlett's gay. I forgot that was confirmed.
And Springman is right. It does pale in comparison to the power of friendship. Friends are cool.
Yeah, no, power
Friends
of
are
friendship,
cool.
super powerful. Like, again, power of lesbians, super powerful, but very specific. Like, it's not like general. Power of friendship, very broadly applicable. It's like the bard. You need it.
Is your power of lesbians different than my power of lesbians?
Maybe
Because you're a Shoujo Ai fan.
Yeah, Shoujo Ai. I guess maybe it's more the power of Shoujo Ai. That might be.
Yeah,
I have a different flavor, specific strain that's very powerful that like didn't get diluted in the.
Mine is the power of having to sift through an entire garbage dump of absolute weirdos before I find someone I like. But that's also me. The power of friendship wins. Actually, the power of friendship always wins. Friends are cool and great. Have friends. You know what? No bully. Have friends.
All right, let's move on.
Sorry, where are we? She put her song.
Scarlet, closest mouth. He nodded.
Yeah. Coco glanced at Sun, but he was pointedly looking away from Scarlet. Speaking of class, Velvet said, we're late.
And those who miss history are doomed to repeat it.
If you're wondering why I know how an Australian accent sounds, it's because I had 2 Australian professors.
That's great.
They're both from Brisbane, though.
I've not really had the only Aussie I really have significant contact with, or at least have, is Incredibly Bad Decisions in the Tundra. Remember him? He's a cool dude. But
yeah,
I haven't even talked to him. I think of once or twice in the last few weeks. I haven't really talked with him super recently. Also, I'll give the credits for this. I like that last line by Fox. Fox maintains himself as my favorite character in this novel franchise. Just because
I'm definitely not looking up what Fox looks like on the RWBY wiki because I forgot.
Yeah, he's the blind one with the milky white eyes.
This is like a very specific thing, but it bothers me when blindness is represented with fully white eyes, because that's not what happens. You're first of all, most blind people, that just looks normal, and it's like they're cloudy. Your irises be cloudy, but they're not completely white. They just have cataracts.
What is it? I always liked Daredevil. Had a really smart about how it worked, because like even though like they didn't try very hard to make it look like his eyes weren't moving, like a lot of blind stories tried to treat it, because blind people still move their eyes, as I understand it.
Yes, yeah? Actually, it's interesting. There is a condition where some people that I think it's some people that go blind later on in life, their eyes will still react to stimulus. It's bizarre. Like, they can't see, but if you shine a light, their eyes will, like, look towards it. Isn't that insane?
It's like the connection between it and their brain has been severed, but, like, it still functions on its own, that kind of thing.
I think that's so cool.
It's
like
sad,
just from a biological
sad they lost their sight, but I mean, like...
It's sad that... I mean, the biological aspect of it is cool.
Yeah.
By the way, I am... If the chat hasn't realized, I am full of useless information.
It's actually surprisingly useful. I learned more about, like, Christian spin-offs talking with her than I did in Catholic. No, I learned a lot in Catholic school.
Not even Christian.
Yeah, that's the impressive part about it. You and I are just, like, got in a whole, discussion of whether what's it? Gloria from Pokemon is totally Presbyterian, and Marnie
She is Presbyterian. She's Scottish.
Yeah, she's Scottish.
They're all Presbyterians.
And Marnie is... What was Marnie again?
Marnie would just be Anglican.
Anglican? Just general Anglican. Yeah. But, like, actually devout. Yeah. Maybe at some point we should stream one of our just like our headcanon chats.
I would love that.
Talk about all the different things. I still need to get Galar Unsheathed. I need to get that off the ground at some point.
Oh, the fan fictions that we have to write.
Oh, there's so many fanfics.
Man, what else was I gonna say about Fox? I keep forgetting.
He has the dumbest weapon on the entire team.
He does? What is it?
It's like these wrist braces that are kind of they have like shooty gauntlets.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
Yang, but they have blades coming off of them, going up his forearm, and they call them tonfas, but that's not how tonfas work.
Yeah, because they would have to be able to spin up, but they're latched to his arms, so that can't happen. Tonfas aren't attached; they're just holding. I know this because of Soul Calibur. Tom is a good character, a good fighter. You also mentioned Daredevil, and I just want to say Daredevil is my favorite superhero because he has really sensitive hearing, and I've always had super sensitive hearing growing up, so that's like a personal thing for me.
That raises the question then. Do you recognize what song is playing on the stream right now?
No, because I'm talking to you. I'm not listening to the stream.
Oh, damn it. Because I have it on loop right now. I have Hollow Skies from Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yes.
It's such a pleasant background song.
Oh, I love the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack. I like the remake soundtrack because I was afraid that they would have just done strings and piano. But the thing is about the FF7 original soundtrack is Matsu, he just knew how to use every single tool that was out there to make, like, he wasn't afraid to go with the electronic stuff or, some kind of more alternative stuff.
When you listen closely to a lot of, like the opening Midgar city of Mako, when you listen to, like, where the camera's pulling back to show the entire city, you can hear there's a lot of, like, underlying digital sounds to that really bolster the entire orchestral level. It's great. Also, we're 5 pages away from finishing the chapter, or 6.
Alright, let's do this. Coco stifled a yawn and sat straighter in a seat, trying to make a good impression on Professor Rumple, even though it might already be too late for that.
Coco, you can't sit straight.
Coffee... What?
Coco can't sit straight to save her life.
When Team Kiffy had walked a few minutes late, head still held high, Rumple merely shook her head and continued lecturing about the origins of dust trade 200 years ago. Man, sounds very dull. Some might have called it grandstanding, which Team Kiffy had been accused of before, but the team had an image to maintain. Coco had mastered the delicate art of balancing respect for authority with a certain level of disdain for rules, or at least she had at Beacon. She hadn't been Professor Glindwa Goodwich's favorite student, if she even played favorites, but at the same time, Goodwich and Headmaster Ozpin knew the team had talent. Kiffy sometimes got a pass on breaking the rules if things worked out in the end. She had her share of disciplinary meetings, of course, but Coco had actually appreciated the feedback. In retrospect, it made her a better huntress and a better leader. If only she could have finished her training at Beacon like she had always planned. Why would she want to finish the training at Beacon if it's clearly better at Shade? Didn't they say that?
I mean, I don't think they've said it explicitly that it's better at Shade. Just that life in Vacuo is shit, so you just kind of become super hardened.
Yeah.
It's like everyone in Vacuo is at least like a level 1 fighter, while everyone else is fucking NPC levels back at it.
I don't know why I'm losing my mind, but Brady Hickman saying rumpled stiltskin instead of Rumpelstiltskin. Rumpled stiltskin.
Is she actually based after Oh, that makes sense. Oh no, she's the traitor. Or no, she was. Wait, yes, I did call that. My brain didn't. Like for some reason I thought she was a different character, but no, I called that earlier. Remember when
That's the only problem with doing these like fairy tale references is that it makes things really easy to predict.
Or like
Pyrrha, what's good?
Yeah, Pyrrha. Please, John, burned at the stake. Oh,
please.
Oh, that'd be beautiful.
Oh, we're begging.
They killed him for he spoke to them the truth. I'm not a bad character. They knew he lied. Okay. So, let's see. Yeah.
Here she was getting nothing. No one held your hand at Shade Academy if you needed help. But they were quick to slap it if you fell out of line. No one high-fived you for good work either. Maybe they expected that if you were doing well. You knew it, and that was all you needed? Fox had tried explaining that in Vacchio. You didn't do things for praise, you did them to survive. Coco didn't see why couldn't be both. I don't need praise, Coco had retorted. But she did need something to gauge her performance. A wink, or a thumbs up, or a medal for exceptional service. She wasn't asking for much.
Oh, I mean, I think they are really playing into her being an egotist.
Yeah, I could get behind that. I like reading it a lot. I could definitely like feel the personality in there. Fox had laughed out loud, startling students in the library who had no idea they were carrying on a silent conversation. Fox's telepathy came in handy for more than coordinating fights with Grimm.
You do need praise.
Fox had said.
No one spends as much time in front of a mirror as you do, if they don't care what people think of them.
You're just jealous that you can't see how awesome I am.
I don't need eyesight to know you're great, Coco. But maybe those shades of yours have been distorting how you see things. Try taking them off once in a while. You'd be surprised to learn there's a lot of people outside of our team worthy of praise.
Bzz.
Oh, I guess.
Yeah, Fox's voice jolted Coco away. Imagine straight up making like a phone vibration sound. She had nodded off in class. Too many late nights patrolling with nothing to show for it. She glanced to her left, where he was sitting. Thanks, she said. Velvet choked back a giggle on her other side. An 8 a.m. history class seemed unnecessarily cruel, but Rumpole herself had never seemed cruel. Demanding, yes. Harsh, often. Stylish, definitely. She reminded Coco of herself, which was maybe why Coco liked the professor despite her frustrations. Besides Good Witch, she was the only other huntress that Coco wanted approval from. But in that way, the two women were similar. Showing approval wasn't really her thing.
All right, I'm gonna stop.
Coco...
And so this is the second woman that we have Coco being like kind of attracted or at least inspired by, because she basically was like, you know, given Carmine the eyes, them bedroom eyes, early on in the last book. But then Carmine turned out to be, you know, kind of evil. And I'm guessing Rumpole is going to turn out to be evil because, you know...
Man, everybody L's in chat.
Oh my god! This is the lesbian experience!
They just turn out to be terrible people. You're right. L's in chat.
L's in chat, everyone. L's in chat. Alright, continue.
Coco considered what Fox said. She pulled her glasses off and sat forward, wondering if she'd really see things differently without them. On the edge of her vision, she noticed Velvet casting a questioning look her way. I'm sorry, the L's in chat. Killing me.
Hi. Okay, Spring Fan. Is that ha or hi? I can't. My right monitor is slightly blurrier than my left monitor, so I can't tell.
It's ha.
It's ha. Okay. I was gonna say suddenly going Japanese on me. All right, that's fine.
Hey.
That's a lot of L's.
That is a lot of. I need a screenshot of this. Hold on. Oh, and an S to spit. I see the S.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, this. I have too much power here. All right, back to reading. Oh man, the chat went away. Come back.
Considered what Fox had said.
Coco had considered what Fox had said. Yeah, no, I read that. On the edge of her vision, she noticed Velvet casting a questioning look her way. No one knew where Professor Rumpole was originally from, but like most people who lived in Vacchio, who didn't use the right skin care, Rumpole had a deep tan. It's like me after I spent 1 week at the beach. It was hard to tell how old she was, but she seemed young, first because she was short, about 4 feet tall.
It is you!
Listen!
I can't tell if this is silence from your mic or you're just really angry at me right now.
I am very slightly angry. I'm a...
Okay, look, I'm 5'5", 5'6". Like, among men, I am a dwarf, and I don't like it either, so I'm right in the same boat with you, Smalley.
My girlfriend's taller than you.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, like, here's the thing, I'm very much like the, let's see, girls that are shorter than me are attractive. Girls that are significantly taller than me are attractive. But if they're only, like, moderately taller than me, it's just sort of like, it's not enough to be, like a bam comparison. I need that differentiation in height.
That's fair. That's interesting.
Also, if they're like maybe it's like 1 or 2 inches taller, that's negligible.
Wait, everybody. I just realized. Rumpel is a short stack.
Oh my God, Coco's in the midgets.
Was Carbine short?
No, but I just think this is amusing. Yeah, no, I imagine most people in chat are taller than me. It's fine.
Her sandy brown hair reached her ankles in a long braid bound by a golden cord. She had a wide, square string! Let's fucking go! And she wore brown pants with a loose dark green tunic, cinched with a brown leather belt at her waist.
Remember those halcyon days of writing where you just compulsively went through detailing a character's appearance? I just realized that really is a bad place for that, because all the character designs are such an important part of the show that describing a character becomes so absolutely vital. You're in high school and you're 5'5". Oof. Yeah. Just hope
it's not bad. Everybody, short people are underrated.
Was that a fucking pun?
What I just said?
They're underrated?
No, that wasn't a pun. We are all kings and queens.
Just more of the Napoleon variety.
Yeah.
No king or queen. I am an emperor, thank you very much.
I am an emperor. Hey, that one person, that fucking Khaleesi, she was only like 5 foot, right?
I think so.
Exactly. So.
Okay, well let's move on. Where were we? But Coco, I believe.
I'm not actually into Rumpel, by the way. That doesn't sound like that attractive description to me, but But Coco's favorite part of Rumpel's outfit was a sleeveless long coat, dark brown and coarse on the outside, with glittering flecks like rock infused with pyrite, or perhaps cloth studded with yellow dust and a silky gold lining. Losing it at Loco Adele. Coco had dreams about that coat. It must have cost a fortune. It was both rustic and gaudy. Somehow Rumpel made it all work. It doesn't sound nice, like, from a fashion standpoint. It's just like, it's coarse on the outside, so it's just plain and sparkly.
It's like
I could buy this on Amazon.
It's like a brown bejeweled sleeveless jacket. It's bejeweled.
That sounds ugly, and I'm judging Coco's taste.
It's a bejeweled jacket that's prone to explode because it's yellow dust. That sounds like a safety hazard.
Train Dude says he thought Celtic Phoenix was a Celtic lord, and I will have him know that the Celts were kind of short compared to, like, the Nords.
Yeah.
And the Romans. Not significantly. But
yeah, we are short peoples.
I am short, it's okay. If anybody's curious, I am 5'3", which is completely average for a woman, but it's about personality. In my soul, I'm like 6'2". A lot of energy stuck in there. Anyway, without her glasses, Coco saw the essence of Rumpel. Despite her showiness, her style was functional, all business.
What?
And she clearly loved history. Enough that her enthusiasm for the topic was almost infectious. Almost. Yes, Blade Charge, average 5'3" is average. If you want to argue that with me, DM me. Anyway. So what's the voice I should... Listen, chat, stop roasting me.
You see, I'm imagining this is like a female Oobleck. Like, she's a big historian, she's very enthusiastic about it, but she's like the inverse. She's a woman, and she's short. So do you go...
I wonder if anybody's drawn art.
I will look while you read Rumpel's part.
I'm just picturing, like, Maria, but different.
No, we just have placeholder images.
And so, Vacuo was faced with a choice, Rumpel said. To sit out the war and take its chances that the other kingdoms would leave it alone, or side with their neighbor to the northeast, Bale. She paused and added, "We all know how that turned out."
But you're going to tell us anyway.
Coco didn't even crack a smile. She was so intent on looking disinterested.
Looking interested.
Looking interested. Intent on looking disinterested. Why did they decide to ally themselves with Vale, who done nothing but watch as mining companies from Atlas and Mistral drew resources out of the ground, taking the dust from Vacuo and leaving behind barren sand? Rumpel swiveled her head back and forth. She wasn't looking for a volunteer. There were several hands up already. She was looking for a victim. When she noticed Coco, Rumpel zeroed in on her. "Adele, what do you think?" Coco's heart beat faster. No matter how many Grimm she fought, nothing was quite so terrifying as being called on in class. Aside from dark and closed spaces, that was still top on her list. Is she claustrophobic?
Yeah, she is. That was confirmed in the last book, that she got swallowed by a sandworm. Yeah.
Nasty.
Proving that people can, in fact, get eaten by Grimm and not die. Okay, so where are we? Because
I knew that.
Sorry, it's Fox.
Yeah.
My brain didn't.
Yeah.
Because no matter what their difference is, Vale and Vacuo shared a continent of Sanus.
Fox said, "I knew that," Coco sent back, but she repeated what he had said, word for word. She loved Fox's semblance. She also added a bit of her own. "Our fates are linked." "Our," repeated Rumpel. "Are you speaking as someone from Vale, or someone living in Vacuo?" she asked. "It doesn't matter," Coco said firmly. "I'm from Vale, but as long as I call Vacuo home, I'll fight for it." Seemingly satisfied, and maybe even a little surprised, Rumpel turned away. Their conversation with Snam this morning fresh in her mind, Coco suddenly realized something. Since the news from Haven Academy had arrived, Rumpel had switched her history lessons from the establishment of Shade Academy to discussions of the Great War. That couldn't be a coincidence. Did Rumpel think a second war was coming? Did she just talking about it?
That's huh, you know, my history teacher kind of went off on a tangent about World War II. Does he think a third World War is around the corner?
That's a bit of a stretch.
I mean, in fairness, with things going on the way they are, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a war by the end of the year. But, well, neither here nor there.
Sino-Indian War?
The what?
The Sino-Indian War?
I've never heard of
that. China and India.
Oh.
It's potentially gonna happen.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, shit. I mean, like, fuck.
Let's not talk about that. Coco raised her hand, but she didn't even wait for permission to speak. "May I ask you a question, Professor?" Rumpel turned back to her. She studied Coco's face, then nodded. "I've noticed you switched to a different time period in your lectures recently. Shouldn't we be going through the events chronologically, starting with ancient history?" Rumpel pressed her lips together. "When you tell a story, do you always tell it in the order that things happen? Or do you start at the end and entice the audience, then back up to the beginning? Add little details at a sequence as they occur to you?" Coco waited. Was she supposed to answer? No, Rumpel had more to say. "Does that telling? I believe the best way to properly consider the past is to provide the right context for it. And some know how things ended up before you consider why they turned out that way." Rumpel hopped up and stood on her desk, which she often used as a stage or soapbox. At Beacon, all the classrooms were lecture halls with tiered seats, so the professors were always center stage. Here at Shade, though, student desks were arranged in a circle around the teacher's desk, placing students and the professor on the same level. Theoretically facilitated discussion. Oh, that's so obnoxious, though. Like, how do you see?
I've seen so many different churches that have like a central built design to them, where it's all circled around one center. And it's like, how do you give a lecture to people like you only have like a 90 to 180 degree cone of being able to project your voice at most. Like, there's an entire 180 degrees behind you.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Half of it's going to sound like, all these things decided to go this way.
We're trying to world build, guys. We're trying our fucking best. But I'm also not sure what you mean by ancient history, Rumpel continued, now towering above her class. That could be subjective. I'm sure that to some of you, that happened 50 years ago might feel like ancient history. While something more recent, say, the fall of Beacon, doesn't feel like the past at all. That was a cheap shot, Coco thought. From the way Velvet and some of their classmates who had fought at the Battle of Beacon, Iris Marilla?
Wait, their classmates that fought Iris Marilla, Reese Cloris, and Bolin...
Reese Clitoris and Bolin Hori.
Iris Marilla? Miss Marilla. Who is Iris? I've never heard that name before.
I think it's Maria. Just based like Italian phonetics. That's how it'd be pronounced. But
it's like so Reese Cloris. From the way Velvet and some of their classmates who had fought at the Battle of Beacon, Iris Marilla, Reese Cloris, Bolin Hori
shifted in their seats. She knew that they felt uncomfortable too.
Oh, hey, Bolin and Reese are alive. That's nice.
Oh yeah, we thought they died.
Yeah, Reese.
I guess nobody really died at Beacon except for fucking Pyrrha.
Reese and Blake can go off and have that weird lesbian tryst that Fatman was playing up in his video.
That's ancient history.
Oh, that is. Remember when Fatman released videos? Sorry, I just want to take a shot at him from across the bow.
No bully! Vacuans, it seemed, cherished their history but kept their focus on their future. It's one of the many contradictions that made it harder for Coco to adapt to culture. Guys, it's different, guys. It's so different. Wow. Different.
Yeah, we appreciate the past, but then work towards our future. Wow, guys, we're really pushing the bounds of philosophical, depth here.
This is so clearly made by someone who's never lived outside his, one American metropolitan area.
I want to know where you're growing up that you're not, learning how to do that. That's just how humans function. We use the past to establish the present and build towards a future. That is, just how things work.
Yeah, we're not like other countries.
Team Auburn. No, what about Team Auburn? Why are you just saying Team Auburn?
They are
Bolin and Reese, yeah, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, they're Team Auburn.
I know they're Team Auburn. I'm just saying, why are you bringing up Team Auburn? It
so Brady mentioned Ruckersville, Virginia, and that just sent shivers down my spine.
I should remember that. Why is Ruckersville important?
That's where Chris Chan is from.
I don't know Chris. I've heard of Chris
Sanchu.
Chan. Oh. You see, I've tried looking into that, but that was a 3-hour video on dissecting Sonic Shoe, so I've never actually learned what...
There's a giant documentary.
I know, I just couldn't get into it. I just didn't have the time.
That's fair. Pay attention to people's reactions, Coco sent to Fox, trusting him to pass it on to Yatsuhashi and Velvet. It's just that I'm curious what life was like in Vacuo before the war and the Vital Peace Accords, Coco continued, before the dust companies destroyed it. She heard grumbling from some of her classmates, but Coco pressed on. What was it like when monarchies ruled the Four Kingdoms, when the crown was the center of authority in Vacuo? Rumpel couldn't have missed the significance of Coco's question, but it didn't show. I see. This happens to be one of my particular areas of interest, but I'm afraid much of that knowledge has been lost in Vacuo thanks to conquest and war. We can only guess what life was like for those who lived in a paradise filled with verdant life, the formalized government and royalty. The documented accounts or records remain from that far back. Some families have claimed otherwise over the years. Wait, it was verdant? Like, don't... Deserts exist. The Sahara's been there for many thousands of years.
Yeah, like, this is a desert the size of the Sahara. It's taking up almost an entire continent on it. Like, it's taking up at least a third of a continent. That's massive! And this is the biggest continent on the planet. So it's like they're expecting us to believe that the Vacuo Desert was formed purely because things were mined to excess. That's not even how mining works. If they were farmed to excess over many thousands of years, I could believe it with climate change, but... I mean, this is also a world where there's, gods, goddesses, magic space rocks, that kind of crap.
Who knows? Maybe it was the maidens or whatever.
Okay.
After Rumpel dismissed class for the day with an assignment to write a lengthy essay on the causes of the Great War, Coco, Fox, Yatsukashi, and Velvet hung back. When the rest of the students had departed, Rumpel addressed Team Coffee. I don't have an answer to your real question, Adele, she said. I haven't even spoken to the headmaster about your request yet. Bra moment for world building. Coco couldn't believe it. Why not? She demanded. The crown is important, and we've also been hearing about widespread disappearances throughout the city. Rumpel hopped to her feet and hooked her thumb over her belt. It's up to me to determine if it's important enough to bring to Theodore. He has been preoccupied lately. I'm just assuming she's like 60, by the way. That's why I'm using this voice.
Yeah. Oh, is this Coco?
Yeah. You mean with the attacks on the other academies? I understand his concern, but does he really think anyone is going to attack Vacuo right now? The kingdoms have already taken everything it has. The kingdoms have already taken everything? Okay. Coco said in frustration. Just looking at the chat. Yeah, people talking about how that's not how ecosystems work.
Yeah, F's in the chat for proper world building people.
F's. But also press R for rats. Just for some positivity.
Yeah, good. We got to understand what makes good rat.
Press R for rats.
EFAP fans don't understand that one. Please continue.
What fans don't understand this?
No, EFAP fans will understand what makes good rat.
Oh.
There's a podcast I follow called EFAP. It's based on my newest Artemis Fowl video. I based on like the head guy Mueller, his style of rages. That's what I styled that on. And in one of their videos, they were covering they cover a lot of different video reviewers, and in one of them, they had the video reviewer put up this sign that said, "What makes good art?" But because of the font, it looked like "What makes good rat?" And so that became a running gag in there. This is like a podcast that's almost been going 100 episodes. Technically longer if you count all the spin-off episodes. Where it's just like... It's like episode 20-something. And it's been going on, what makes good rat? And it's like, oh yeah, we'll make good rat eventually. We'll figure it out.
Hey, if anybody can DM me on how to make my voice deeper by speaking through my chest, please let me know. I have no voice control. Anyway... Rumpel took a deep breath. If you think dust is all Vacuo has to offer, then what are you doing here? After your response this morning, I had hoped you thought better if you knew how than that. Coco wasn't about to back down on this one. It might be the last chance she got to make her case. I do think highly of Vacuo, and that's why I'm worried about what's going on here, right now, instead of what might happen tomorrow. That's the luxury you have as a huntress in training. Theodore has to be concerned with both today and tomorrow. And all the days that follow, it falls to him to keep our academy and the students safe above all else, Rumpel said flatly. Oh, I did not deliver that flatly. Which is why I'm investigating this crown personally, and will report my findings and recommendations to him in due time, not when it's convenient for you. You've been investigating the crown? Coco said. We can help!
I just imagine her saying that sensually, which is why I'm investigating this crown personally, and will report my
Personally.
findings
Findings.
and
Recommendations.
to him in due time, whenever it's convenient. I don't know. That kind of trails off. It's just like, oh. Okay.
Rumpel sighed. Of course you can. It's only because of your team that we know about them at all. And if your suspicions are true, we'll have to deal with the situation sooner or later. But I can't officially assign you to the case without drawing undue attention to it, or running my few leads to the ground. She paused to let that sink in. He's outside. The sink is in. Then added a warning. And if I ever find out that you've been continuing to investigate the situation on your own, I would have to report that to Theodore immediately, while he doesn't believe in coddling his students. Fluff snickered. Coco might have imagined it, but Rumpel's mouth twitched into a half-smile. He does intend to protect you all, even teams as capable of Kiffy. Wow, she actually praising us? Coco thought. The headmasters of the other schools have been reckless, negligent, or overprotective. Theo's first priority will always be helping you reach your full potential, making you strong enough to survive anything that comes your way. He has your best interests in mind, no matter where you come from or where you started your training. Who else can say that? Rumpel spread her hands. Give us some time. Coco nodded. Okay, this seems fair, she conceded. Until we start to run out of time, she put her sunglasses back on. Rumpel drew her coat closed and locked the door. Now get out of here before I give you extra homework for being late to class. Coco left the professor's classroom knowing two things. One, she had not only admired Rumpel, but trusted her. She hadn't been sitting around ignoring Team Kiffy's warnings. She had been out there taking quiet action, which led to the second thing. Coco wanted Rumpel as a mentor. Just think what she could learn before she graduated Shade.
Yeah, so I guess that's it. Yatsu, yeah.
Yatsuhashi said, processing what they had learned.
She's on to us. We have to stop what we're doing or she's going to tell Headmaster Theodore. That's not what I heard.
Fox said. Well, we can't stop now, Velvet said. We aren't going to, and Rumpel doesn't want us to, Coco said. She told us she knows we could handle ourselves, but if we get too much attention and she's forced to act, she'll have to report us to Theodore.
So basically, she told us to be careful.
Fox said.
Oh.
Yatsuhashi said.
Are you sure she said that? All that?
Vacuo, Coco said. Nothing is ever what it seems.
Don't. It's Chinatown. Okay, I'm just gonna run through. They're trying to. That was not what I got from that conversation. I got from that conversation conflicting information of, I haven't reported it to Theo because he's too busy. I've been investigating it myself without offering any kind of evidence to prove that I have, or any kind of indication, like what I've been doing, how I've been handling it. No kind of, information on that. Instead, I'm telling these students to stop investigating it, or else I'll report them to the headmaster and tell them what they've been up to. Despite the fact that I have told them multiple times, I'm not going to report to the headmaster because he's too busy to deal with this kind of crap.
Didn't RWBY use this plot already? Like the show?
Maybe? I mean, the villain.
It feels very familiar.
I mean, it feels. And also, Coco's like, oh, I want her to mentor me, but like, she's giving you no reason. Like, I think you're reading into. I think she's reading into her being like, oh, you should totally do this, but just do it carefully. No, I think she's actually being like, yeah, back the fuck off.
Yes, the classic tradition of reading way too much into what someone says and hoping they were flirting with you.
Oh, that sounds like Coco for you.
Yep.
Also, I am dead tired. I don't know why.
Yeah. Have a beer like I do.
I don't drink. Well,
that's fair. I shouldn't drink. Actually, there's no reason I shouldn't.
I literally only drink when I'm doing my reviews, and that's only when I'm doing it for the actual camera. Like the one time I fake drinking probably makes everyone disbelieve that I drink, but no, I every time I'm doing my RWBY videos where I'm knocking one back, that's an actual drink. But that said, I think I'm gonna start winding down the stream. Just keep this to 2 hour-and-a-half streams, roughly thereabout. I wanted to go 2 hours to get through chapter 2, but I can already tell that I'm gonna pass out like halfway through this.
All right.
let's see, chapter 2.
Okay, if we're winding it down, then, any requests from the audience of things for us to talk about?
Yeah. What would you guys like to hear about?
Do you want me to read more Animal Crossing fanfiction?
Ray says he doesn't drink, but every RWBY video, then in Volume 5, he downs the bottle. That's tempting. I've been racking, now that I have, Volume 4 all written out, that is... Oh. Volume 5 on the horizon is terrifying. Terrifying. Thoughts on pineapple on pizza? It's an abomination.
Facts. Listen, the only good pizza is bad pizza, okay? I want the cheapest cheese on the cheapest sauce. Oven, in the oven, slightly burnt, thin as a paper.
Or deeper than a lasagna. That's the alternative.
No. I know you're from the Midwest, but I'm not from the Midwest.
The thing is, I didn't realize this, but there's actually,
Hold on, I want to read a comment. I want Senpai to notice me. Aka, Coco said, losing her cool for a moment. Fox looks at her and thinks to himself why he didn't get a drink earlier.
I was gonna say, there's different types of like, focus on pizza, if I understand it. Like,
Well, let's not talk too much about pizza. We got a lot of other,
topics?
questions coming in.
She makes killer cookies.
I think it's probably best to keep off of fixing RWBY for now.
Yeah, fixing RWBY. I am hoping. I'm actually going to be putting up a teaser soon for it. Next week should be the first installment of Part 6, and I'm hoping for that. I have one more piece of art to get in. I have a few more things to touch up on editing, but it should be finished next week. So wasn't Sin meant to be here? Yeah, they were here. They were here.
Yeah, the exposition that we just read, I mean, there was definitely 100 less clunky ways they could have done it. I would have just had it that it's, like, slipped into the history text. Like, I don't know, maybe they walk in and Rumpel says, like, oh, you forgot your books, and then just hands them something with a note in it. Wouldn't that be way less clunky?
I mean, what exactly are we talking being clunky? The
exposition.
Wait, what part of the exposition? Like, half of it, like...
This whole chapter was exposition.
Well, part of it's also lore. Like, you have to consider, like, part of it's lore, part of it's exposition. We don't know what's going to be at play here. And that's part of it. Like, that's part of the trick with exposition, is nesting it in lore. I mean, technically everything's exposition, but I'm talking, like, plot exposition is different than lore exposition. And when you nest the two together, it makes for a more cohesive whole, because it disguises the plot exposition in information that can be used later and pulled upon later for your work. Thoughts on what they're going to do with Summer in this series? I'm currently writing a Stark fanfic, and by write, I mean I'm probably going to write a chapter 1 and never finish it at best. You are the worst kind of fanfic writer. Don't abandon your fanfics. I've already abandoned one of mine, and I felt so guilty for it. Actually, I've abandoned a few of mine.
Say more team names like how they're spelled. RWBY, Jinper. That's all I got.
Curdle.
There we go.
What else is there? There's Ernger. Sturk. Strick. Maybe not strict. I think it's a little too... There's a vowel in there. I don't know why. What else is there? What other teams are there? Urban.
The series is a mess. Rumpel, is it possible to have some private lessons for academy purposes?
It says logo. God is gonna... So, let's see. We got this confirmed. Yang is the one that hits on Glinda, and Coco is the one that hits on Rumpel.
Yang hits on Glinda?
Apparently that's a thing in the fandom. It's small, but it's noticeable. Indigo. Actually, I like indigo because it's actually really close to its actual word.
Yeah.
Burns. Burn.
Isn't Indigo the fan-made one?
Yeah, from Indiegogo, which I thought was really
Makes
cute.
you think.
Let's see.
Anyway, I have the Animal Crossing fanfic up if anybody's interested.
Oh Lord, I mean, go for it. I'm not gonna stop you. I'm gonna look for more questions. The show ends for they put all the relics together just for Ruby to blow them up. Maybe?
I still think that if they're going to sacrifice Atlas, what they should do is they should just grab Salem and tie the relic to her, and then she'll just be suspended indefinitely.
I was gonna say, Brady, no, Weiss doesn't hit on Leo. It has to be one per team. It's Scarlet that hits on Leo.
Ew.
Why not?
Ew.
Not like he's a character yet. We haven't gotten too deep into him.
I hate that Scarlet is a man.
You know what it looks like, right? He is super wimpy.
No, I mean, it's just the name. Like, Scarlet is a woman's name.
Yeah, his last name is David. It's like, that's weird to me. Rarely do I hear that.
It's a very normal last name.
You see, it's weird. You're like, oh, this is a normal name, and I'm like, I've never heard that used in that way before. Like Petra.
David as a last name?
Like Petra, I've heard of there's like a historical Petra, but I've never heard of that being an actual name.
It's an older name, but it's a name.
What's happened so far? Sun and his team are trying. Well, Sun is trying to get his team in on the hunt for the crown, which were the villains from the last book, who escaped and have an evil organization. And Coco is like, yeah, sure, whatever, but we gotta cross this by Professor Rumple. So they go to class and have like a weird coded discussion.
There are 47,590 people in the U.S. with the last name David.
How many? 47,000?
Yeah, Larry David, ever heard of him?
Oh, Lord. Show ends with gods killing everyone because Osmond failed his mission. I would applaud. That would be, like, balls to the wall, ballsy as hell.
Very Attack on Titan of them to do. I'd respect it.
You should read the RWBY fanfic series called I Will Not Scatter by... I've seen I Will Not Scatter. I've not read it. I'm not really in the RWBY fanfiction community anymore. I really lost my taste for it after Volume 4, I want to say. So,
I read it for the kinky smut, because that's all they offer.
Oh, yeah, obviously, yeah. I'm still...
Not even good.
But, like, that's like the fast food, where you're just like, man, I really don't want to work at my imagination today. I just want something fast, dirty, and ultimately probably not healthy.
Yeah, no, they're right. Hazel's also a girl's name, and I also think that's weird.
Yeah, but he's a buff, manly dude. Who is
it's
also...
like how in Pokemon Ruby, like there's the dude Tabitha.
We haven't seen Hazel in like 2 volumes. It just hit me.
Yes, that's just how the evil team work. By the way, Watts is a king.
Absolute Chad. The Waluigi. Watts Luigi.
Ever think of what you do if you were isekai'd into RWBY? I would kill myself than hope for a better role.
As Rumple goes on her history lessons, the door slams violently as a drunk and ticked-off crow storms in the room as he shouts, "Who's stealing my job as lore teller?" And then he passes out. Yes, fanfics.
Yes, fanfic Arslan ex Futa Pura. Hey, where else are you gonna get that?
Yeah, where else are you going to get that?
There's so much Futa in RWBY fanfic, it's unbelievable.
It's the highest! It's the most...
It's not the highest. The highest is Love Life. I've checked.
Is it really?
Hold on, let me look it up.
You know why it might be? Because Love Live, I don't know if it's consolidated under one banner. Like it might have different like groups broken up. Because I remember RWBY being the most.
Yeah, I think I remember Love Live is because you're right. There are multiple Love Lives.
All right, let me go to.
Hold on, let me. I'm looking up. Okay. I just want to point out there's only 5,000 works that are tagged Futanari on all of AO3. That's kind of impressive. Like, Compared to Ruby, I would have thought it'd be way higher. But I guess it's just
Ruby
very
is currently
specific.
sitting at 641 of those.
Only?
641 of... Oh, sorry, 612. My wrong. My. But still...
No,
like,
no, I'm getting 834, and then next is Love Live 207, then Love Live Sunshine 142, then Fire Emblem, then League of Legends, then Pokemon,
all right, I have a question. I have a serious question.
and Love Live again.
How do you do Futanari, but not have it be explicit?
Are
How do you do
unexplicit?
Futanari and have it be teen
Why
and
there
up
are
audiences?
6 audience? Oh lord. It's like very specifically a kink thing. It's like having a G-rated fanfic about like I don't know, like bondage.
Yeah, so let's see. RWBY 836, original work 564, Love Live School Idol Project is 207. Then there's Love Live Sunshine, which is 142. But even then,
So RWBY is still number 1.
RWBY still is number 1 by like
Oh,
the
that's
next
so
largest
scary.
is original
Why is
work.
Love Live so high?
The next largest is original work, which is 564. Like, can you imagine that? 5,042 works, and almost 1/5 of that, arguably 1/6 of that, is RWBY.
It's so bizarre. I'm amazed Fire Emblem is as low as it is.
Welcome to the Futanari stream, by the way.
Welcome to the Futanari.
Virgin
What are
Terrain-
the Fire Emblem fans up to anyway?
What are the what?
Do they still do the Fire Emblem fans still have shit taste in chips? I have to check. Yes, they still do.
I say, the Fire Emblem series.
Felix
has-
X Sylvain is number 1 now. L's all around.
Fire Emblem series, and let's see. Actually, that is
Dimitri X Violet
Wow.
and Crom X Robin are right next to
fun
each other. That's like the most basic thing I can imagine.
fun thing to
No
do.
shame if you like it, but
Fun thing to do is go into any fandom on AO3, go to the tags, go to additional tags, and see what's listed under there. And it tells you something about the fandom before you assign anything else. So, for
I like how
example-
for Fire Emblem, oral sex is number 10.
Yeah. Earl Sex is number 10. Plot, what plot? Porn
Kings.
Without Plot is number 8.
Kings.
But then if you go, let's see what
Not
the
really.
explicit is like.
No, the only good Fire Emblem fanfics, or most of the good Fire Emblem fanfics, are all in Echoes. So I have to scroll and find that. Right now it's all 3 houses, and that's my issue.
Fire Emblem fans are busy arguing on whether Edelgard or Rhea is right.
Yes, they're always arguing about that, and it's funny because the game is beating you over the head with nobody's right in this, and just the bad system needed to change, and it changed. But everybody who played that game was expecting some like very fun JRPG like Persona. You could just protect yourself on. That's not how it works.
Oh,
Additional tags for Fire Emblem Echoes is character study made it on to the top 10. That's unbelievable.
Brady, I'm going to ask you never to repeat those 4 words or those 3 words in sequence ever again.
Hey, whoever said Ingrid is best girl, DM me. in a good way. In a good way. Respect.
Oh Lord, we have a whole conversation. I mean, I don't think anyone here is going to care, but me and Molly are currently working. At some point,
We're not working. Let's not talk about. No. So okay. I need to preface this. So I don't hate ships. Usually, I think that hating ships for like getting in the way of other ships is super petty and stupid. I mean, it's fun, but it's petty and stupid. Like deep down, it's just something you do for fun. Whoever said Edelgard is best girl, DM me. Molly Rymaster 7010. Anyway. So I only dislike ships if I think it says really bad things about the shippers. So the only Fire Emblem ship I actively hate is Ingrid and Dorothea, because that ship is literally built off of one person being really aggressive towards the other, being rejected, and still getting with that person somehow. So you can imagine where that usually goes.
Yeah, and we have plans. We have interesting and fun plans, so if anyone's in the fanfiction community...
Felix X Annette is the best. That is the best ship in the entire goddamn game. That's popular.
I mean, I'm not really inside the fandom. I've been dragged there kicking and screaming to some degree by Molly, who just keeps sharing this stuff, and I just eventually play
I'm sorry!
Like, I have my favorite ship, which is Petra Burney, which doesn't get a longer support. It needs a longer support, damn it. And then, of course, like, Annette is adorable. Most of the girls are adorable, to some degree.
Annette and Felix is great, because Felix is supposed to be this, like, from surface level, he's like a Sasuke, where he's just, like, edgy and uninteresting. But then, like, he's not uninteresting, because A, he has a reason to be like that that's very legitimate, and B, he's, like, super nice with people that he decides to be nice with. It's precious! And that's just singing her songs, and Felix is genuinely interested in her the little songs she sings.
It's just weird because
it warms my soul.
I don't like a lot of the I'm very much when it comes to characters, when I get interested in them, a lot of it comes down to their character design first, and a lot of the male designs don't stick out to me as very good. Even though in Awakening I liked a lot of the male characters.
Awakening had a really good character designer. It had the same person who did the Somnium Files. By the way, play the Somnium Files.
Because like
play all Kotaro Uchikoshi games.
My favorite, of course, my favorite ship in that, I believe, was Donal and Mirabelle was her name, I believe.
Mirabelle. There was some good supports in Awakening that I still remember.
There were some great supports. I just love that it really lines up so damned well with Mirabelle's son, who is like a country bumpkin. And so the idea that he took more after his dad than his, because he always winds up a country bumpkin no matter what. But Donal is an actual, it's like developers
there are some pairings, like every character has a person that they pair with faster than everybody else.
Like Crom and Cornelia, was it?
No, Crom and Cordelia cannot get together. Crom and Sumia paired faster than anybody.
That was Sumia. It was one of the Pegasus writers, I remember.
Lysithea may be a nuke, but have you ever steroided up Ingrid after recruiting her? That was fun.
Will I ever finish FE Awakening, but Lucina X Severa is some grade A shit. I was much more of a... it's
very basic, in my opinion.
I was a Severa and, Kjell fan. I thought those two were actually...
Shelley. Her name is pronounced Shelley. I learned that whether I wanted to or not, it's Scandinavian. The KJ is a sh sound. Like, there's a player on the Rangers. His name is Brady Shea. Skjei.
Shelley. So, yes. Severa and Shelley. I love their dynamic. It was great. God, there's so much, it really sucks that I think some of the strongest supports in Fire Emblem,
Okay, CJ woke.
Lysithea, Petra, and Flayan are the best girls, and I will not choose a single one. I only know one of those.
DM me.
just accruing new friends here.
I am. Everybody, we're friends now. Black Eagles friends.
But let's see.
I love the Black Eagles. They're just bastards. That's it. All of their C supports is that they hate each other. And most of them don't get better. Well,
Hi
a little
there, Dorothy
better.
and Ingrid. How's it going?
Oh, that's different. I don't recruit them anymore. There's only two ships that I actively worry about with its fans, and it's Dorothea and Ingrid, and Catra and Adora. But Bumblebee comes up there, because Bumblebee fans are atrocious.
I will still argue with you vociferously on Catra and Adora for so many different reasons. Now, Bumblebee, I'm all on board with criticizing. There is so much bad blood there. And, well, have you
ever seen a Bumblebee fan act appropriately?
I have on occasion. But I'm not, the biggest... I'm a sane person that only occasionally ships... Well, I ship them as like the mainline ship, but it's just sort of like it's like a fixture now. It's not really like I'm doing it out of the character dynamic was good in the first beginning of the show. Like you could understand where people were coming from. The idea, oh, it's the extrovert and the introvert. It's like a tale as old as time. Get fucking Mrs. Potts in on there. But now we're like, 7 volumes deep, and the characters haven't actually evolved together. Like they're just
how many full conversations did Yang and Blake have from volume 1 to volume 5?
Christopher Capes, I am Scotch Irish.
Good Appalachian boy over here.
I mean, yeah, drove through them on the way to North Carolina. That's. I just love how like basically southeast Ohio is just northern West Virginia. They are just.
It really is.
It really is just. We just might as well secede. I don't know the reason why that even is part of Ohio. I think it's just because they want a roughly heart shape to the state.
Yeah, I think it's cute. Dorn of Green. 7 is high. I think the real number was actually like 5. Yeah, I think it was a one-hand situation.
Dorn, what was he saying?
He's saying, did Blake and Yang have 7 conversations between volume 1 and 5? Bumblebee can be nice. I mean, it's just a ship. It's just that the fans are so aggressive. Like, you know what? I'm gonna.
The fact that right now the ship is completely toxic and it's getting together when it's like we were talking about this last night about Madoka, like Madoka and Homura, and how I was talking about how at current point in the setting, Homura is not in a healthy mindset at all. Like, I don't ship them now. Right now, I want Homura to get better because there is with considering the universe of Madoka, there's the potential to get better or things to get even worse at all times. So it's like that's I want Homura to be in a better state of mind. The only time I would ever ship the two is for like when I'm feeling really sadistic when they're in this mindset together.
I'm just gonna go into Bumblebee tag. How do y'all feel though when Bumblebee is already canon, as in they have feelings for each other, but soon they'll be canon as in they are a couple? I am overjoyed!
It's like, I mean, like, you get some cute ones, like that, the Beauty and Beast cosplay, where it was, Yang and Blake Beauty and Beast, like, cosplay within a cosplay, I don't know what you call that, but, like, the couple that proposed together in that outfit. That was really cute. Like,
there was a couple that proposed together in Blake and Yang outfit. How long till the divorce? How long till the abuse call-out post? Every time I see people defend Bumblebee, like, as a narrative, it's always that, like, but they're soulmates, they'll just work through it. No, you don't, like, okay, some life lessons here. If you have beef with someone, deep down, like, how deep it is, if you know you have beef with someone, talk to them. And then go for them. You never want to be in a relationship and then have the problem. Because when you are in a relationship, especially that first few months, there's a very crucial honeymoon period where all your emotions will be very elevated. So if something goes wrong, it will go wrong worse than you could ever imagine before.
God. I speak from personal experience on that one. Ruined possibly the best relationship I ever had. It torpedoed itself. Right around.
The Bumblebee fans are always terrifying. They're like, look at this smirk from Yang, and it's just like a weird close-up of Yang's face. One dude is 32 years old and shitting Bumblebee.
It's just fucking Joey face from Yu-Gi-Oh! Just
What's worse, Ladybug or Bee? Oh, Bee is way worse, because I've never seen toxic Ladybug shippers.
But it's because they
don't exist.
I don't understand
fans,
Ladybug. The thing is, like there are ships I can be like, all right, I don't agree with it, but I understand it. Like,
hold on, CJ has a very good question. First of all, I just want to say I have seen and heard of Bumblebee fans harassing people at conventions over cosplay, which is extremely stupid. Like, they're dressed as Yang and they're harassing the Adam cosplayer, who's really proud of what he's done. I talked with a dude like this in person. He was really proud of the cosplay he made because he thought Adam was cool, and there were people like harassed him about it, and he was like, "Dude, it's just an outfit."
Yeah, that can get really wearing, but like, do you feel cute moments that don't progress a relationship further and are just cute moments nothing more than fan service because that's how I feel. I mean, it depends because like if you overdo it, certainly, but like the idea that a couple would be cute together, that actually happens. Like the people that I look to as an example right now are my best friend and his wife, who have been together since high school, who have been together through thick and thin. Actually, she might have coronavirus right now. We don't know yet. She's getting tested. But
full healing.
Yeah. But they are sickeningly cute together. And like they're sickeningly cute in weird ways. Like it's just like really quiet, like, you know, when one of them stands up and the other goes like, "Can you get me a glass of water?" And the other just goes, "No, I hate you." It's like, oh. And then they go off and they get the glass of water.
Real life is different. Like, also know that it's not a good reason to stay out of relationships. It's a reason to be careful in relationships. Uncommon ships. I have a lot of uncommon Fire Emblem ships, but I don't really want to get through that here. I have a really weird shipping wheel for that. In terms of RWBY, I shipped Monochrome since like Volume 2, and that's very odd. I think.
I really.
But for the cuteness thing, excuse me.
For
the cuteness thing, I think the cuteness thing in real life, you don't have a runtime, right? You don't have to progress characters in real life. I am sickeningly cute with my girlfriend. She's watching right now, cheering me on, and I love her. But I don't need like an interesting dynamic with my girlfriend because we're real people.
Also, hi, Molly's girlfriend. How's it going?
I don't know if she's in the chat.
Yeah.
Wait,
is she?
Yeah, she sent a little heart.
Thank you for making Molly so happy. She adores you.
I'm gonna try to play that cool.
No, Blush. I'm trying to get a reaction out of you. Damn it! You two are too adorable together.
But I'm not on camera.
We can feel it. We can feel it.
Anyway, but when it comes to characters, like, by the way, still shipping White Rose is based, but
we've evolved actually. I think we all agree that it's Dolts and Bolts is the way to go now.
You know what? That's fair.
It's the
well, everybody
ship.
knows the way to go is me ex Winter when she's feral and beat up with her hair down with her her clothes tied. Things that changed me. Things that changed me. I feel like if you just keep having characters show how cute they are with no progression of their actual character, then it's just fluff, which sometimes works in a show that's like a sitcom that's, you know, just light. But if you're going to do a narrative with real character building, that doesn't work because it's just no build-up. It's just boring. That's what they're doing with Blake and Yang right now in Volume 7. You know, it just shows you them being cute or whatever.
I'll hold that thought for a minute. Rick's Arts, not Nuts and Dolts. No, that's Penny and RWBY. I'm talking Dolts and Bolts, which is
what's that?
That's the poly ship. That's RWBY,
no.
Penny, and Weiss.
No one in a poly ship has ever been happy for more than like a year.
Yeah, but no, rarely has the poly ship had a robot involved. So that might change the dynamic. There's hope yet.
I guess the robot can't feel offended when they end up being the number 3.
Yeah, exactly. So it's I think that works. But on the point of what were we just finishing off on that? What was the last thought you just had? That's what I said.
I was talking about how like you need character building besides just cute moments to show us a relationship being compelling.
Yeah, I was gonna say they had one moment like that in Volume 7 that I actually really liked. And that's where they were debating whether or not to let Robin in on the actual events of what's going on. Now, metatextually, it's an incredibly stupid conversation. But when it comes down to two characters actually, like, talking and trying to work through things and trying to trust each other on trying to be like, hey, I have this kind of, like, radical idea that might not be kosher. Can you kind of give me some feedback here? And, like, trusting each other not to, like, chew down each other's... That was a really good scene for the characters. It actually made me feel like Blake and Yang weren't just two vacuous, like, you know, puppets for the writers to swing around, they were two people actually trying to think through a problem and a solution together. And it worked. They bounce off each other really well. I actually really like that scene. And
that's how you show a dynamic. That's the thing.
That's how you do it. And I think cute moments should be handled more like how they handled it earlier in that volume, where it's like, oh yeah, me and Blake are going to go out dancing. And it just showed that really quick clip of them, like, of Yang trying to show Blake how to do a little dance. Like, a cute moment like that, just one or two of those sprinkled within, and it makes it's like spice. It's like spice. It makes the couple pop. But if you're not showing the actual dynamic of the characters growing, then you're missing the point of a relationship. And I'm guilty of that too. I am so tempted to just go like, oh, cute girls being happy together. Yay! I can't do that. I can't. Yeah, it's too much.
People being cute is not what a relationship makes. Like I use like Attack on Titan as an example sometimes of this. So you have Sasha and Connie, who are in the show, like, canonically, they never get together. They're best friends, but they play off each other in a way that you could see it as romantic. They're very sarcastic with one another. They kind of do the same thing at the same time. Like they're clearly on the same wavelength. But the thing that makes it not really a romance in my eyes is that there's never really a time where you see them playing off each other in a way that suggests a deeper bond. Like, they're incredibly close. There's no doubting that. And they're both comic relief. But the thing is, when you want to show two characters, like, really deeply in love, it's them in these tough moments and showing how they respond to it when they disagree. Like, because it's easy to be friends with someone who you agree with all the way through. Having a really strong relationship requires you to have these moments that you don't agree on things, but you still work through them somehow. So Blake and Yang not agreeing for whatever stupid reason to tell Robin, it works because they have a disagreement, they argue, and they come to an agreement based on their dynamic. That's how you show it. But they usually don't do that. So.
Boulder Off Bros. This is Molly. She is.
Hey.
She has been one of my my best friends throughout the entire fandom since. How long have we known each other now? A couple of years.
I was a sophomore when we started talking. I'm a senior now, so.
So about 2 years, yeah. So, and actually, that's a good. I don't want to get on the actual topic that we were discussing that made us like friends, quote unquote. But we started off really not on the right foot. We started off really bad against each other.
I was offended by something you said,
yeah.
But then we just talked and we like came to an agreement.
Yeah,
I like Christopher going, "Who's Raymond?"
Who's Raymond? I don't know. He's just some asshole. He just talks a lot. Thinks very highly of himself, even though he's not really worth it.
Yeah, like Sasha and Connie, cute, but showing two people actually working through those rough spots is what makes something deeper. And obviously, if we're real people, so it's not going to be like that. But in a show, that suggests that there's something more going on.
Wait, I've met her on Tinder back in the day. Got me kicked like 3.
Oh my gosh, Luke?
Yeah, it's Luke. Oh, in the Tundra. Sorry, I was like, TNDR. Is there like a RWBY version of Tinder out there? What the fuck?
RWBY Tinder. Oh my gosh, I would love to see statistics on RWBY Tinder.
Oh, let's see. How many divorces? Specifically divorces after marriages that happened within the first month.
Luke, I'm not going to apologize for getting you kicked. That's what you're expecting.
Yeah. Okay, let's not bring that up. Let's not dredge that up.
No.
There was no acronym for the Tundra. We don't have a
Loco Adele on Tinder on TNDR.
Oh God. Let's see. What else? I mean, because like shipping communities, shipping is such we had this whole discussion last night how shipping is so illy defined that people think it means so many different things. I mean, like,
so
I consider
even Raymond have different definitions.
Yeah. I consider it just an element of storytelling. It's something that you can apply, or you can even build a story around. But it's just one element. It's not something that can sustain itself.
But I don't consider things that are written into the narrative itself to be a ship unless the fans demanded it. So, like, Bumblebee is still a ship because the fans basically held them at gunpoint and asked for it. But
I'm very much of the mindset that, like, say, for example, Ochiko and Deku from My Hero Academia, that's canon. That's been canon since like word go. It's a ship that they're very clearly building to, or it's at least an infatuation they're building towards, and it's like that's a canon ship. It's still a ship. The writer itself. Like if you go also by like death of the author to its author of its logical extreme, the author themselves are writing the ship that they want to see. So it's like that they themselves are part of the fandom. Like that, maybe that's kind of part of it. Is I consider the writer in a way their own part of the fandom.
Yeah.
You know, so we like different interpretations of that. But you know, like we might want to do an entire stream on unhealthy ships and like kind of regurgitate some of this information. But like there's a whole lot to cover on shipping. It's a very fascinating subject matter.
All right. In the meantime, are we going to read this Animal Crossing fanfic or not?
I mean, like just the one you pulled up. Like, how big is it?
Oh, I mean, I just read the descriptions.
Oh, just to read descriptions? It's almost 11.
Okay.
Yeah, we should probably hop off. I was expecting that we'd get off 10:30 and I can go get some rest. I'm still feeling exhausted, but I'm surprised.
I'm sorry.
No, this was fun conversation. I love all this. But I would love to thank every single one of you for joining in on us. I loved seeing you all in here. I hope you had a fun time with the chapter we read and the hilarious dialogue. Hopefully we can get to the another chapter or two next week at some point. If you're free, that is, Molly.
Next week I have nothing, so yeah.
All right, well we'll see. We'll try and get that out there. Keep your eye peeled. I'm going to post to Twitter something fun teasing what's going to be coming in volume 4 fixing. When I'll post it, could be tonight, could be any other night. I don't know. I'll decide how I'm feeling. But until next time, guys, thank you all for tuning in, and we'll catch you all on the flip side.
Good night, everyone.